Any views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the journalists and guests are solely that of the journalists and guests and do not reflect the views, opinion, policies, or positions of Positive Lifestyle Management.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, men, women all around the world. Welcome to another episode of Clearing the Smoke. I'm your brother BG, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Steve Burnside, who's coming on the show today, man. And we're here to talk about your book, Mr. Burnside, Reaching the Youth, Resolution for an American Crisis. So, my brother, could you please introduce yourself?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Steve Burnside, author of the book entitled Reaching the Youth, Resolutions for an American Crisis. We're going to have a thorough overview of the chapters in this book and things of that nature and what it entails. And we're going to let our people know how important it is to get this book because it contains realistic solutions to the problems that's affecting our community.
All right, my brother. So let's start out by saying you was born and raised in the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All right, let's see now that according to the about you, brother, I say you studied, you are an expert in the studying of African American history, world history, political science, religion, philosophy, Eastern and Western psychology, mysticism, cryptid knowledge, and many other fields, including criminal and civil law. So
That's
let's see,
right.
you are a well-versed brother in that field,
That's right.
and it also showed that also said that you served almost 20 years of your life inside the Wisconsin penal system. So that's a good
Yep.
thing, there, brother. So that what you got going on, considering the fact that you have been in the criminal justice system, you know. So
Right.
let's tell the networkers, man, about yourself, man. How you come up, where you from, and everything.
Well, coming up as a youth, from age 3 up until 17, I grew up in foster care, you know, and being in the foster system, you really being in there, being in a foster home, you're gonna see how it really works and things of that nature. Some people, I mean, I interact with my foster family to this day. They is family, but at the same time, being in a foster home, you're gonna go through things like favoritism. You're gonna go through some things. You're gonna feel like you're not wanted a lot of times, and things of that nature. And then the thing is too, being in foster care, at the end of the day, when you're out the system or put out the foster home, you're left with no resources and so forth. So I was put out at the age of 17. I was
Right.
sleeping in abandoned cars, houses, and open friends' houses and so forth. Till I was like 18 and so forth. And some of my friends took me in. Going from foster care to being homeless, I mean, that's two stones already. You dig? And like, being homeless, I mean, it's deep. And then not only that, being homeless, and not being educated, meaning having read the right material and so forth. I always knew how to read. Even when I was in sixth grade, I was representing my class in spelling bees. I was spelling words like pneumonia, ultramicroscopic volcanoconiosis, and so forth.
Ho,
Always
ho,
had
ho,
good.
ho, ho. Ho, go back. Hold on. That was above my mental capacity at that stage right there. So let's bring that back. Say that again, brother.
I mean, literally, I was spelling words like pneumonia, ultramicroscopic volcanoconiosis. It's actually a
And what do
medical
that
term.
mean?
It's a
Okay, and
medical
what do
term.
okay, and what
Yeah,
does it and it's a medical term and what does it mean in the medical field?
in the medical field, it's dealing with pneumonia. That's where the root word of it comes from.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's dealing with pneumonia. You remember we watched Mary Poppins, and they used to say on there supercalifragilistic, all that, right?
Estimate. Yeah.
Yeah, but to come to find out. My teacher, my English teacher, taught us the longest word in the English language, which is the one which is pneumonoultramicroscopic volcanoconiosis.
Hi, Pine Bluff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to donors. Thank you to the voters who came out to vote on Tuesday. Vivian Flowers for mayor prevailed. We won the opportunity to go into the runoff. The runoff election will take place. It'll start with early voting on Tuesday, March 26th, and it'll go through to Monday on April 1st. The runoff election day will be on Tuesday, April 2nd. Make sure you remember to come back out and vote. Vote for change. Vote so together Pine Bluff can win, win, win no matter what.
Pine Bluff, stand up and vote for Vivian Flowers, a mayor you can trust. Endorsed by PLM News Network.
So, and
Okay,
then
so it's safe to say then that you was more so like a gifted child coming up.
yeah,
You was in
yeah,
the genius stage. Okay, all right.
yeah. Left-handed,
So
left-brained, all that.
o- okay,
Zodiac
so
sign Virgo. Under the horoscope, you look up in the Virgo, they're gonna tell you they analytical thinkers and so forth. And that's me all day.
okay, so how would your family and friends describe you?
Oh, they would describe me as, for one, smart. I'm talking about family, friends. I'm talking about from any organization because I know them all. You know, you ask the Lords, you ask the Stones, you ask any of them, and they know me. They're gonna be like, well, that brother Bogart. That's what they call me, Bogart. They're gonna be like, man, that brother, he's smart. That's what they know me as. That's the first thing they're gonna say. He's smart as I don't know what. He's smart as hell.
Okay, so how would you describe yourself in one word?
Brilliant,
Brilliant. Okay, okay,
yeah,
that's
or
good.
wizard.
Okay,
I got in Wisconsin. I'm known as the wizard.
the wizard. So what
Yeah.
do you think? What do you think that your mission in life is?
Well, my mission in life, Fee, is to uplift our community, man. I don't want none of our youth to go through what I experienced from from
Okay,
from 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 being in foster care, from 3 all the way on up. I don't want our youth to go that route. Not to mention, I don't want them to end up in the penitentiary because, like I said, when I was homeless, I ended up in the streets. You know how the streets is. You either get A, you know,
yes.
and I ended up catching a 45-year bit for 2 counts of
Ho ho
armed
ho
robbery.
ho 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 whoa 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 whoa. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. I know we spoke on you serving almost 20 years of your life inside a prison, and you say that you were sentenced to 45 years for 2 counts of armed robbery.
Yeah.
And so, what led to you having to commit those armed robberies? Because I want
Well,
to
for
say this here
one,
to you too. I want to let me say this, cause I've been in the system too. So I've
right.
been in that system and I served a lot of time. I served 33 years in that system. So I understand how it go. But explain to the networkers, explain to our audience what caused you to wind up serving 20 years in the Wisconsin Department of Corrections.
Well, like I said, Fee, I got, I caught 2 counts of armed robbery and so forth. I was out on one and could have almost beat that case, but ended up while I was out, I ended up doing another. And I got caught. And the thing is, when I went before the first judge, he sentenced me to 10 years on that one. And it was cameras all in the courtroom and so forth. I didn't know who they was there for or whatnot, but he gave me my time, 10 years and so forth. And I walked and I looked at the judge and I told him, that I'm gonna be quote unquote. I told him, I said, I'm still gonna be a nigga for life. Put that in the motherfucking paper. That's what I told him. But one thing I remember that this judge told me with Judge Wiedemeyer, he told me, he said, Mr. Burnside, you don't have any patience. And when he told me that, and when I got to Dodge intake, I never forgot that. I never forgot that. That's one thing I never forgot. And not only that, given the fact that, like I said, I always been above comprehension reader and so forth. You know, even when I was kicked out of high school, North Division High School, they sent me to an alternative school, which was called Lincoln Downtown Center, East Nap here in Milwaukee. And they put me on this computer and they had me take a speed reading course. So I literally learned how to read 700 words a minute and also interpret what the essence of the paragraph is about. I can do that still to this day. I don't care if it's a medical book. I don't care if it's a law book. I don't care what kind of book it is. I'm a professional speed reader. And so when I got to
Okay.
Dodge, I got to seeing how these correctional officers, you know, because I ain't been around no white folks and all them joints up north. I get to seeing how they treating brothers in the cafeteria and so forth. So I went to the library and I started getting every book they had on the Ku Klux Klan. I started reading about that. And then after that, they had two joints. I had two options. I can go to Green Bay, which was the young guys penitentiary, or I can go to Walpond where the old school timers was at. And so I chose Walpond because I wanted to get up under some OGs and learn or figure out what I don't know. So I chose Walpond. When I got to Walpond, OGs up in there doing life, they started throwing them books at me. I get to reading this one book, Fee, where they talked about we was kings, queens, gods, rulers, and pharaohs. And I said, what? And when I read that, a light switched, like, what the hell? I was like, man, I've been
Okay.
tricked.
So let me ask you this here.
Yeah.
And most people, and I ask this question, they are unable to answer this question in a way that I think they
Okay.
it should be answered. So I'm gonna ask you this question: why are you so passionate about education?
Well, for one, hey, it says in the Bible, for my people have been destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. I
Okay.
mean, that right there nips it in the bud. And then another thing too is that one thing that I learned when I was with my foster mother, I used to come home from school and I was 9, 10 years old, and every day she would be in her room reading the newspaper and watching the news. And so
Right.
I would do my chores, and then I'd come in there, Mama, can I come in here? It's like, yeah, come on, Stevie. I come in, she reading the newspaper. After she finished this section, I'd be like, okay, Mama, can I read that section? I wasn't looking at no cartoons. I'm reading the Metro. I want to know what's going on in Milwaukee. You know, I'm reading the world events. I'm reading all this. Then when the news come on, I'm watching the news. So I developed that habit back when I was what, 8, 9, 10 years old. And you know what news stands for? North, east, west, and south. That means
Okay.
I was born to collect information. I'm a real brain banger. It's too many
Okay.
secrets out here. Our people are dying because of the lack of knowledge. I need to know. You ain't gonna hide nothing from me. I'm gonna find out. And I done found out a whole lot, and I'm giving it to our community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now back to your book. In chapter 1 on page 9, chapter
Okay.
1, page 9, you stated that the lack of jobs in society, the lack of jobs in society, along with other problems affecting the African American community, such as broken homes, lack of desire to obtain a higher education, lack of professional job skills, drugs and alcohol addiction, self hatred, senseless violence, and suffering from mere ignorance makes it impossible to break the cycle of madness. Now, you saying it makes it impossible, meaning that, and from my understanding, that it cannot be done. So, do you think that all these things that's affecting our community they are impossible to overcome? So, you say that it makes it impossible. So, if all these things are affecting our community, then you saying that it's impossible. Then why are we trying to overcome it if it's impossible? Why did we, why would you say it's impossible?
Well, on one spectrum, it is. On another spectrum, it ain't. But like I said, even the impossible can possibly be overcame. You know, as a brother of the struggle, we have to continue to strive. We know in this day and time, we got a whole lot of obstacles out here that's affecting us. Like, look at the state that our country is in and our community is right now here in 2024. You know,
Right.
while the powers I be, the powers that be, while they out here playing with laser beams and manipulating energy and so forth and splitting atoms. We still down here, you dig, in the neighborhood arguing over peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Hi, Pine Bluff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to donors. Thank you to the voters who came out to vote on Tuesday. Vivian Flowers for mayor prevailed. We won the opportunity to go into the runoff. The runoff election will take place. It'll start with early voting on Tuesday, March 26th, and it'll go through to Monday on April 1st. The runoff election day will be on Tuesday, April 2nd. Make sure you remember to come back out and vote. Vote for change. Vote so together Pine Bluff can win, win, win no matter what.
Pine Bluff, stand up and vote for Vivian Flowers, a mayor you can trust. Endorsed by PLM News Network. True.
Yeah,
So do you think
I
that's
mean, but the
so do
thing
you
is,
think that's so do you think that's impossible to overcome?
well,
Today,
I
looking at
mean,
it today, because
yeah, looking at it today, it's a challenge, and like I said, it's a hell of a challenge. But like I'm built for it though. That ain't the issue. I spoke with 20 youth last Friday at Madison High School when they was escorting upstairs to go to the classroom. We in the hallway. These kids in the hallway fighting, like literally.
okay,
So we got the
okay.
public school situation. See, the things is we got to get our kids about these public schools because that is the epitome of the problem in our community. They have something what is called mapping. Mapping means that if you're not able to read at a third grade level, by the time you reach third grade, they already assigning a prison cell for you. They building another jail cell. It's called mapping. It's real deep. Um, so we got to overcome that, and the thing is, we got so much opposition from the government, as far as implementing real history and so forth into the classroom. That fight continues to this day. Right now, instead of adding history, they passing laws taking away history. Now down there in Florida, they don't even want them to learn about the history of the Native Americans. It's like they hide knowledge. What did the Rockefellers say when they came out in 1908 and put 1 point some odd billion into the General Education Board? They said they didn't want a nation of thinkers. They want a nation of workers. Also, they even went so far as to state that they didn't want statesmen. They didn't want to create authors. They didn't want to create men of letters. They even went so far as to say they don't even need lawyers, doctors, and politicians. They said they got enough of those individuals in their secret societies and so forth to fill that order. So what they want to do, they designed a curriculum that's basically programmed to turn our people into robots and Frankensteins.
So
And
what are we
you learn how
so
to
so
read,
so
write,
what
add, and subtract, but that's just to take orders. That's it. They're not teaching you how to think, make rational decisions, nor are they teaching you about morals, ethics, and behavior traits and so forth.
so let me ask you this question then. On page 29 in the book, you said we must remember change began with education. But then you
That's
drop
right.
down to the next paragraph. You said finally, eligible voters in the African American community must continue to elect Democratic candidates who are concerned about the issues and needs of the African American community in order that we might be provided with resources from the state and federal government that could facilitate our efforts to bring about a positive transitions in the African American community. What? Do you still believe this? That we got to rely on the Democrats?
Hell no. Because I'm about
Okay.
actual facts. I'm about actual facts. And the thing is, when I wrote that book back in 2010, and we know, I mean, from a historical standpoint, if we go back to the 1800s, 1700s, and so forth, yeah, blacks, you dig, were a part of the Republican Party, whatnot. The Republicans, they passed a lot of things back then, you dig, that opened the doors for a lot of blacks. What happened in the 1920s, and then which led up to the 40s, the Republicans, they started backtracking on some things and so forth, and that caused a lot of blacks to embrace the Democratic Party. So from that point on, we've been, damn, we've been hoodwinked ever since. For the,
So that okay, all right. So you talking about in during that time between the 20s and the 40s. So you mean when Franklin Delano Roosevelt came in office, he came with the New Deal.
right, exactly.
And so a lot of the Dixiecrats, them Democrats back then, which was like Strom Thurmond and all them, they voted when we start coming when the Asiatics start coming to the Democratic Party, they voted and went to the Republican Party.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Okay, so they
And I
so
just,
they switched parties,
yeah,
right? Okay,
yeah,
so now 89 to 90% of our peoples vote Democrat, right?
yeah,
They go Democrat straight down the ticket. So,
right,
but look at the conditions of our peoples. Look at the
man,
conditions of our communities with the majority of us voting Democrat. Look at the
exactly,
conditions. If the
exactly.
Donald Trump said something that made a lot of sense, and what he said, "Hey, why not vote for me? You've been voting for the Democrats for all these years, and they ain't did nothing for you. Why not vote for me?" So that
Yeah,
made a lot of sense. So we got to
yeah,
be able to stop voting for a person because of their political party. We got to start voting based on our entrance, based on the
that's right,
community interest, the needs and the wants in our community. That's what we have
that's
to
right.
start voting. Not voting on because he a Democrat or she a Democrat or he a Republican and she a Republican. We got to vote
I
our
done,
interests. All right. Do you see
right,
the
I done gave them
Jews?
a,
Do you see the Jewish community? Do they care about if a person is a Democrat or a Republican? They
no,
care about what that particular politician is going to do for their entrance.
special interest, exactly.
All right. Okay. So
Special interest.
you first.
And then I wanna elaborate just real quick on that. Yeah, especially under this, these last 4 years under Biden, and then we know it's history. It's history is evil. You did, like, like, that man don't give two crumbs about black people.
What's our number one enemy?
Ignorance,
You say
ignorance,
ignorance. Ig-
ignorance is our
Ignorance
number
do
one
we
enemy.
have it? Ignorance is a curable disease, but illiteracy, according to this book, according to this book, illiteracy is our number one enemy. And
Hmm.
illiteracy, so if illiteracy is our number one enemy, that means we have to become what? Educated. Because illiteracy is the opposite of literacy.
Right.
And literacy meaning you got to be literate or something, or mean educated or something, right?
Yep. Exactly.
You said something in chapter 2 of your book. And what you said was this here. You said, remember the 1960s, an era in time that produced many prominent African American leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, H. Rap Brown, and many others. It was an era when many African Americans was culturally aware and community conscious, and where many sought and fought for education, economic, political, and urban development. Okay. However, on the flip side of the coin, a large segment of the African American community failed to seek knowledge and refused to get actively involved in the struggle for advancement. It's the same lackadaisical segment of African Americans who actually witnessed the struggle for advancement during the 1960s, yet refused to take part in the struggle, and who subsequently passed that same lackadaisical mindset on down to the next generation of youth whom they've given birth to. That's powerful, bro. And let me tell you why
Yeah.
it's powerful. Because the grandparents passed it on down to their children. Their children has passed it on down to their children. And now their children is passing that same lackadaisical illiteracy down to their children.
Yeah.
We have, in order for us to get the youth, we got to get to the parents first. Because who's the
That's
first
right.
teacher?
The
The
parent.
first teacher of the child is the mother, which is a parent, and the father.
That's right.
So we got to educate the mothers and the fathers, because no matter what we tell them, when they go home, They got to go back into that same environment. So if they're not hearing or seeing what we're telling them inside their homes, what's the likelihood of what we're saying to them is going to take hold? That's just a
Right.
question.
Okay. All right. Now, and that's why the way I put this book together, most people that buy my book are the adults because this book was put together as a parental instructional guide on how to properly educate and raise their children at home. I put this book together specifically for the parents, but it's designed to reach the youth. So if they follow this format and this blueprint in the household, uh, they can get some real homeschooling, instill some good morals, ethics, and principles in their children. It's really, like I said, it's a blueprint on how to raise your kids and educate them at home.
Okay, I spoke with you last week, and you mentioned a good friend of mine, Mr. Terrence McClurge, that y'all was in a conference together, and that y'all built
Yeah.
with each other and everything. And yes, message to the streets. Yes, Mr. McClurge. Yes, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we met each other inside of the Federal Bureau of Prison. But I can say that the whole time that I was around Mr. McClurge, that he was very inspirational and on top of his business, and everything that he said that he was going to do while he was on the inside, he's out here doing it as well. So
that's right.
how was that conference, and how was that conference with you and Mr. McClurge?
Oh, it was excellent. We spoke. We actually went up to Madison High School earlier on that Friday. Well, we spoke to the youth. We spoke to a group of 20 students and so forth. We gave out numerous books and so forth to the youth and whatnot. And then later on that evening, we had the main event from 6 to 9 at another venue. It was the Message to the Streets book tour. So Terrence, he spoke. I got a copy of his book right here. As a matter of fact, got a copy of his book right here
Okay, let me
by
see
T
it.
Mac, Message to the
What's the
Streets.
name of the book? Message to the Street.
Message to the Streets.
Everybody go out and copy Message to the Streets from our brother T Mac, Mr. Terrence McClurry, aka T Mac. Get that book. I know
Yep,
it's a great book because I was around Mr. McClurge when the book was first titled "The 21 Messages to the Streets." You know what I'm saying? So
right.
now I understand. You know what I'm saying, that he's changing and everything. So y'all go out and cop that book. All right, Mr. McClurge, man, I'm proud of you, man, for what you're doing out there, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. So
Thumbs up.
now,
Thumbs up to you,
yes,
brother.
sir.
T Mac.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my brother. So I got another question. Who has been the kindest to you in your life?
Whew. The folks.
The brothers and sisters. Okay.
Yeah.
How have they been the kindest to how have they been the kindest to you?
Man, Fee, I can tell you on many instances when I was put out to foster home at the age of 17 and I was, sleeping in the streets and whatnot. Uh, like if one the folks them see, I ain't got no. They let me spend the night, eat the whole 9 yards. Even when I was in prison, when I first went to Wall Pond, I ended up catching the 360, spending the years of segregation. I really didn't have nobody sending me no money and yada 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 because I wasn't really connected with family. Uh, we was in a hole. The folks them was sending me them care packages. Make sure Bogart's straight. That's why, man. That's why I got this ring on. This is my marriage
Yeah.
ring. This only I'm married to the org. That's it.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes, sir,
married.
my brother. So
Yeah, the folks always been there, man. That's why. When I went to prison and I knew the mistakes and things of that nature that we had made to end up in there, I took the initiative to really educate myself so I could also educate the guys. Like I said, in prison, I've educated GDs, Vice Lords, Stones, I mean, everybody, I was on top of it. I was getting kicked out of prison, for the type of knowledge I was teaching and so forth. But yeah, but yeah,
so let me
like
ask you
I
this
said,
here. Tell the networkers something about yourself that most people don't know. Tell the networkers. Let us know something about yourself that most people don't know. Tell us something about Mr. Steve Burnside, that most people don't know?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want society sleeping on a giant because I am. I mean, I'm a real brain banger. And I got global knowledge. Global knowledge. Like not only that, not only am I aware of, no criminal civil law and so forth, I got global knowledge. And not only that, I got common sense. I know how to see things and so forth. And I'm an individual. I'm about figuring things out quick. I don't believe in theories and fillers and all that stuff. If there's a problem, there's a solution. I ain't got time for theories. I know how to figure things out real quick. And I'm a real brain banger and so forth. All you got to do if you want to figure out and get to know who I am, get my book, Reaching the Youth, Resolutions for the American Crisis, and you'll see what level I'm on, and you'll see what level it's going to bring you guys on. Because that's my goal. I got to uplift my community, man. I was not put on earth to be no dummy, no prisoner, and not only that, not to let my other people suffer from what we've went through. I ain't going. When I say BOS, I represent that. Brothers of the struggle, man. Bettering ourselves. And that's what we have to do, man. And I'm going to fight the good fight until I can't fight no more.
Okay, this one final question. If you was writing an autobiography about yourself, right?
Yeah.
What would the title be?
It will be the autobiography of Steve Burnside.
Yes, sir. And thank you, Mr. Burnside, for taking your time to come out to speak, man, with PLM News, man. I really enjoyed this here. And I think and I hope that we see you again.